next presentation is MedStar Authors Catalog Revisited, using koha to build a catalog of publications. And this is by Fred King. Fred, take it away.
Okay, I actually didn't. I meant to take this slide off before I started. Where do I talk? Okay, click on somewhere. Seems to have frozen. Okay. As Christopher said, Fred King, his name implies, I'm a medical librarian. Work at MedStar Washington Hospital Center in Washington, D.C. Since I am giving a presentation involving MedStar authors, I am using the MedStar Health official template. Also, I have dressed up. My trousers are kind of rumpled because they were in my suitcase, but my wife, I was talking to my wife last night and said, "Well, do you have an iron?" And I said, "Well, I'm talking to a bunch of computer geeks. A lot of people in the audience don't know what an iron is," which I mean in a positive way. Modifying I'm going to use is the journal citation catalog or anything else, because I doubt any of you will want to do exactly what I'm doing. But I'm just saying this is what I did with it. Maybe you could do something similar. And a lot of this is recycled. In fact, how many of you have never heard me talk before? Okay, good. Some of you won't have heard my jokes. Good. Yeah, seeing as how I am sort of presenting in my MedStar persona, I need to say the opinions here expressed are my own and not necessarily representative of MedStar Health, its management, associates, affiliates, attending physicians, their families, or any of their household pets. And I realized that when I was going over this last night, I should give you a little bit of backstory. Some of you work in a place with a really great IT department that is very friendly and supportive. In fact, some of the IT directors go on to become some leadership positions in organizations, except he's Scarford, so I can't point to Christopher. Now, our IT department is good at what they do. It is very important for doctors, residents to have ready access to lab results, imaging, patient records, and billing is also a point really high priority. We're a bit. Does this building have a basement? Okay, well, I'd have to dig a hole to show where we are. Because I'm not sure a lot of it. Our IT people know what a library is or does. This was borne in on us when earlier this year they changed our IP address. Now, how many of you have IP validated stuff? Yeah. That's why I asked about Open Athens, because now we have to go through Open Athens for everything, even people who are on campus. And we're trying to set up a single sign-on. My boss, who may be listening in, is trying to work with them. Generally, it takes about 2 years to get stuff done. For this project, I needed a domain name, 2 years to get it. So I converted our ILS to koha in around 2013. And again, last night I realized, yeah, I should probably put in a few quotations. My favorite one from Grace Hopper, and it is easier to receive or get forgiveness than permission. One from Thomas Edison. There ain't no rules here. We're trying to accomplish something. I have to say that screw it, just do it is nice. And given the audience of yesterday, laughter and general rowdiness. Robertson Davies, there is a spiritual link between teaching and lion taming. Okay, on to the presentation. And I have carefully optimized my presentation to provide the best results for visual and audio learners, which sounds much better than if I'm going to read my slides. First of all, every presentation by the librarian needs to have a cat in it. What's wrong with you people? No. Go green though. So let me start out by pivoting to Authors Day. A lot of people in our hospital and all over MedStar, because there are hospitals in Baltimore, Southern Maryland, Montgomery County. A lot of people write papers. We don't have to publish or perish, but it's sort of traditional among doctors. If you know something, you need to share it with your colleagues, sort of like us. So they publish in medical journals. And we've been tracking that for since I started in 2005. Then we started putting together bibliography, printed one. And 2012, we put them into Reference Manager. Well, got a computer upgrade. We lost Reference Manager because we only had one license. We started using Zotero. Now, back in my early days as a librarian, I worked as a lobbyist for the ALA Washington office. Please don't tell my mother I was a lobbyist. I told her I was a craft dealer. But I went to presentations or test hearings with James Billington testify, Librarian of Congress, and his catchphrase was "Get the champagne out of the bottle." They got all sorts of wonderful stuff, but nobody knows about it. Well, we have all sorts of wonderful stuff in the medical field. So we have a database of local authors, each one with its own record, and software designed to search and display records. Probably figured out where this is going since this is a koha conference. So my presentation is 3 parts: part A, part 2, and part I. First of all, design a MARC record that fits into koha. Configure koha to display the fields you want, and then convert the records. So first of all, Medline to MARC. Wait a minute, let me pivot to Medline. It's, database, medical citations, 36 million now. They had a million a year under the auspices for the National Library of Medicine. Your tax dollars at work. Yay! And most but not all are indexed using MESH, medical subject headings. Here's an example. Remember from high school biology, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species? MESH. That's the same thing. So this tree start out with psychiatry and psychology, behavior mechanisms, goes down to emotion, And just at random, I picked boredom. It's supposed to be funny. I use Ovid Medline mainly because I've been using it for something like 25 years and I know how it works even when they put in a new one. And this is what a brief display of records looks like in Ovid when chosen absolutely at random. Some guy named King Fred. This is actually not just Orgulous Vanity, but it is the only time my name is going to appear in the British Medical Journal, and somebody names a disease after me. But that's what it looks like. And this is what the citation display looks like. Got the unique identifier, title, source, status, author's full name, all these little access points. And this is a list of everything that I can export. I don't want that. So I just chose the ones that I thought would be useful in the catalog. Now, 10 years later, after I just did the first one, thought, okay, I need to do this and this and that. Now I need to pivot to a trigger warning. The rest of this presentation. If you're a real cataloger, you may need to look away. You met Heather Hernandez yesterday. He is a real cataloger. Not. Okay, some of the fields I had went effortlessly. ISSN linking to 022. Title 245. PMID UI, that's going to be significant. Each citation has its own unique identifier. Local call number 099A. Year, abstract, language, mesh term goes nicely into the 650. Institution, geographic name, and good enough, 651. And digital object identifier goes nicely into the 856. I had to sort of push randomly. Source, version, fiscal year, manufacturer, not really. This time I decided to link each author with their institution and the residence with their program and degree and their status, first year, second year, third year, fellow. And those sort of went into the 700 B, C, D, and E. Some of them I had to make up new fields. For example, NLM journal name, put in 253A. How many people here have a 253A? I do. And Orchid is 858. So let me pivot to a slight digression to explain what a DOI and AI are. Digital object identifier, and it's a static URI that will follow the article around no matter what server it's on. AI, sort of like a DOI for people. There are lots of different ways to, or there are lots of different systems. I just decided to go with Orchid. Open researcher and contributor ID. And instead of 4 numbers, and anyone who wants one to advertise their wares can get one. Click on the DOI, and you go right to the article. Click on the Orchid, go there. But how do you add new mark tags? Got to pivot to that now. By the way, I kind of overdid it with the arrows and animations. It's supposed to be ironic. It's more sort of satire of a boring lecture. Oh. Okay, go into Bach bibliographic framework. And let's say I want to add some 700s. I chose the default framework and clicked actions, mark structure there. And just for the fun of it, 700. I used to use 100, but Heather really went pale because you're supposed to have just one author in the 100, and I didn't. So for her comfort, I moved everything to 700. But you can go into action and add one or modify one. For example, 700 tags. 700G is miscellaneous information. Well, I changed it to name of author's first pet. And it's repeatable because the author may have had a whole bunch of first pets. Born into a family of wolves. As you can see, go back to the list. Under G, name of author's first pet. Also add a completely new field. Going to new tag. This is going to be a 701. Name of primary author's first pet. Not repeatable because there's just one primary author. And then you go into subfields. And subfield A is name of primary author's first pet. Repeatable. And it's visible in the OPAC staff interface and editor. Is a URL doesn't do what you think it does unless they've updated it. It does not put a nice URL, clickable URL in the detail page. It's a lot messier, and I'm not going to go into it today. I would like to call your attention to managed in tab 7. Blow this up a bit. A little bit more. Ignore means that the subfield does not display in the record editor, and this value, if any, is deleted from the record. I hope I don't need to tell you why I am emphasizing this. But before you put it in the family, you need to make a home for it. Otherwise, I'll just ignore it. Okay. Now I have to configure code to display what you want. This may be doable with jQuery. If it is, please don't tell me. But okay, you have it defined. I can go and find them. Normal catalog, you don't have to do this. This is not a normal catalog. And one of my catchphrases, Koha is infinitely configurable. You want to add new authorized value? You can. Now, I can't build a vehicle. I actually have this in for George, and it's also scarpered. My van is not as cool as the one he thinks I have. I can't put a van together. I can look under the hood, take out stuff, put in stuff. Put in new battery. Put in a cheap battery because this is a 2004 van. And as you can see, the chicken is on the doily. I'm going to have to say a little bit about Elasticsearch. Tomorrow, Nick is going to tell you everything you need to know about Elasticsearch. See, he needs to be here today too. Oh well. He'll be here tomorrow, I hope. And then I'm going to follow him by showing you how to install it live. What could possibly go wrong? But here you have the search fields, the name of the field. And over here, bibliographic records, this is where you can start changing things. Right now, yeah, abstract is in the 520. Good. Go down a little more. So you can put a new label on it. You can change the index name. change the field index, and you can repurpose things. Made up a file called mark tag 265T and S, which is status and article type. I called them interest age level and interest grade level. I could probably change the names. I'm scared to do it right now. It's too new. But I did change a few of them. NLM call number index is the PMID. Reading grade level, resident status. I mean, it doesn't really fit, but it doesn't have to. And I put the ORCID under the URI. Now, the pivot part where I cause programmers clutch their pearls. Today, and actually, it's probably just as well Nick isn't here. So for my catalog, I had to modify masthead.inf, OPEX, advanced search.tt, OPEC facets, R21 slim 2 OPEC result.xsl. You can change its name. I'll get to that in a moment. That's how the search results are displayed. And Mark 21 slim 2 OPEC detail.xsl. And of course, this is Ubuntu. Linux is case sensitive, so you have to have everything exactly. By the way, if any developer wants to change the login password from the 32-bit random numbers and letters and characters to X, I'm not sure that would compromise security, but it's so much easier to type in. Okay, this is our library page. Standard drop-down search box, your library catalog, title, author, subject. You get the idea. So you have to go into masthead. This looks really scary the first time and the second time. But you don't really have to know how to do all this stuff. You just have to know what to look for. Here it says library catalog, title, author, subject. Hey, that was the drop-down menu. Change it. What it looks like, they're blown up a little. And look for if, else, and value is the name of the index. Actually, this is a shortcut to the index. And the index is AU, which is author. The one in institution, which is index code institution. And value is the name of the index, code institution, institution. There's the modified version. And this is what it looks like in the author's catalog. Author, title, institution, department, format, publication, PMID, and journal. You will not get this right the first time. I like to save each copy because if I do something horrible, I can go back and figure out where I went off the rails. Sometimes I have to go back about 3 different versions. And notice go A, B, C, 1A, 1B, 2H, I think was the final one. And this is actually not INC. I changed it to XSL because I'm using Notepad Plus, and that makes it in different colors, so it's much easier. And of course, you have to change it. Advanced search, same idea. That's what it looks like in a normal catalog. This is what the more options looks like. Mostly something as phrase. Just go in and look for the phrases. Keyword, keyword phrase, author, the phrase. Search for a little snippet, file down the serial number, put in your own stuff. Like journal name, in the expanded options, journal name phrase. which is the difference between, let's say, cardiology, and you'll get 20 different journals with the name cardiology, or cardiology today. Just get the one. That's what I have. In addition, I put in midline publication type, conference name. Can't read it. Resident program, resident details. So if you want anyone in the surgery, plastic surgery program, you can find it. And again, phrases. Facets. I just took out a few things that we didn't need. But now comes the hard part. The OPAC results and OPAC detail pages. These live in user/share./koha/OPAC/htdocs/OPAC template/bootstrap/en/xslt. Good news is you can name them anything you want. You can put them anywhere on a different server even, which may make things a lot easier. Here's administration system preferences, details display, and results display. We should put new auth-get detail and new auth-get results. I also have a server called documents.space. Before I figured out how to store everything on the Koha server itself. Okay, so this is what the results page looks like. How did I do it? Again, go in, find what is displaying something, and then change it. So the 246 other title, well, I don't use that. But I could just put in 099 PMID in the fields. And for example, hi Aida. If you have a library in Sarajevo and you're using UDC instead of DDC, you can go in and change the 082 to the 080 and change it to UDC. There you go. Detail page. Okay, I wanted institution and library in the form of publication, subject headings, year. Some of these are clickable, some aren't. This one I did not write, but my boss, who I think may be watching, hi Lila, wrote it. Has anyone been a nurse or gone to nursing school or worked in nursing school? Okay, there's a rule in nursing school when you're doing research, all your sources must be 5 years or less. And the reason is we've always done it that way. So the group, including my boss, did some actual research that doesn't always work. So, okay, the PMID is not searchable or clickable. MedStar Washington Hospital Center is. A couple of ways you can do that. So here we go, PMID. And data field name. Now, if you want clickable, it gets a little more complicated because you have to put in this link and Q equals, and that's the index name. But you already know the index name because you configured it in Elasticsearch. You won't get this right the first time either. Yes, I was at 4H. So now it's ready to use. Let's pivot to getting citations. Hey, I wasn't sure where to put this in. We have 7 item types: journal article, a conference presentation, poster. Someday I'm going to do book, author, editor, chapter, author. We started it, but then I got the flu and was out sick for a month and in the hospital overnight for observation. And they got tired of looking at me and sent me home. So you have to figure out, okay, who in your institution publishes? And I was able to set up an auto alert, searching for names, institutions, keywords. So I'm looking for MedStar, Washington Hospital Center, National Rehabilitation Hospital, all the names. By the way, asking people to send information about their publications is probably the worst way. As some departments have somebody who has been there forever and knows everything and can send you a list. These are people you want to cultivate. If they like cookies, chocolate chip is always good. But I really can't advise you. I have an auto alert that goes to a folder. I'm going to skip over a few things. If you were a medical librarian audience, get a little more specific, download just the PMIDs. There are a lot of duplicates. Here comes Nick. Good. Remove duplicates can do really nicely in Excel. There's a function to remove duplicates in the column. Some of them are already eliminated. Unfortunately, I just have an enormous search for all the PMIDs and I'll have it saved. And if it's already in the catalog, it means something has been done to it. It's gone from a preprint to actual print and publication, something like that. So you have to treat those a little differently. Now this week, as luck and the script would have it, there's only one article that fits my criteria. So I only have to worry about one of them. And I saw a unicorn in my garden last week. It ate a lily. Sports reference manager. And remember all the fields I selected earlier that I wanted to keep track of? There they are. They're selected fields. Why am I still using reference manager format? Basically because I already had it set up and I really didn't, it's not important enough to change. I'm too lazy. The any tag format could be RIS, EndNote, XML, whatever. And this is what looks like when I download. See lots of information, lots of teeny type. So now I have to do an awful lot of search and replace. Look for all full authors and just take out the ones that aren't in your institution. And add the department and the institution. So that's hundreds of searches and replaces. Fortunately, I can pivot to a shortcut called replace text. That's sadly no longer available at their website, but available from the Internet Archive. And what it does is look for anything in the left column and replace it with what is in the right column. And if any developer would like to do an updated version of this, you would certainly have my eternal gratitude. And or if someone knows of a similar program, you don't have to put in things line by line. Just do one line, just looking for one line replace. And keep track of it in a spreadsheet. I also have replace text for residents, because they change every year. People come and go. It's easy to keep track in this spreadsheet, and you can just put in all the fields that you have for everything and then add the new names. You can even do a pivot table in Excel. So that's what the original file looks like. Then I run it through Replace text to add not found for every FA, full author's name. Then I run through to add the departments. And okay, this one added Layla Heimlich, and this time I included the institution MWHC as the 700B, Washington Hospital Center Library. Then you take out all the not found, either you add them to your list, if they really do work there, or if they don't, just delete them. Now, we're not the only MedStar around. I discovered that there's a MedStar emergency medical retrieval service in South Australia, based in Adelaide. Yeah, they're not affiliated with us. There's a MedStar Antalya Hospital in Turkey. Very nice hospital, but we don't send residents there. There's also a National Rehabilitation Hospital in Dublin. The one in Ireland, not where OCLC is. And then you add other tags. These eventually start keeping fiscal year. You convert to Mark. Well, Chris, were you afraid if people were falling asleep? Open and Mark edit. Actually, I should let's Mark edit. You give it to that. If you don't know about it and you do cataloging, you need to know about it. I'm sure most of you here who do cataloging know there might be a few people listening online who haven't heard of it. All I'm going to say is it's like a Swiss Army knife. You start out thinking it only does a couple of things, but then you discover a few more things. I think the only person who knows how everything works is Terry Reese, who wrote it. You can get it at markedit.reest.net. Just put markedit in your favorite browser, it will come up. And there's a picture of a dog. So open it, markedit. Some fields you don't want to keep, so you can change it to 987, or I could have done this when I did the general market conversion, which I realized after I made this slide. It's only been 10 years that I've been doing this. You can add a field or delete a field. So you can delete all the 987s. You can add a new field. I have 266 for the data is added to the catalog. Mostly because I do something terrible in a batch. I know which ones I need to go back and correct. And yes, you can get this information from elsewhere, but not as easily as I would like. I use the 099 as the call number. I also use it as the barcode. So you can copy the 099A to the 952P. And you put in copy source, it will disappear from the original. Add to existing field. Well, I sure hope there's a 952 there already, otherwise I've done something terrible. And for plain search and replace. Yeah, I know I'm doing two more terrible things that OA field. I warned you. Some things I still have to figure out. Oh, and before you compile it into an MRC file, take out everything that doesn't have the equal sign. All my citations have line numbers. Turns out it's a relatively easy way to do this in using search and replace and Word. I found that Word is really good at doing search and replace because you can look for things like paragraph breaks or a single letter, any letter. When everything's ready, file it to Mark file. You may be familiar with this screen, stage records for import. Import the records. They get imported. And then you get sent back to the job list. Some developer might want to change that to go back to the stage mark records. And there on the search screen and the detail screen. Okay, you've seen these before, but now you know the journey it went through. But wait, there's more. Am I the only person old enough to remember that? That's the problem with getting old. All your cultural references. Hey, Jesse covered this yesterday and add pages, going to administration pages, additional content. You do some other stuff too. For example, my catalog, if you run your cursor over here, it comes up with the 2020 bibliography. It gives a URL down there. You can add files to the Koha server. There is another way where you get the 32-bit code and put it in. I can figure that out. I find this is a lot easier. Sorry, Nick, you might want to cover your ears for this. Because the programmers can like turn pale. But if you put something in user/share/koha/opec/htdocs, it shows up as, it should have been MedStarAuthors.org/MedStar_bibliography 2020works.pdf. Forgot it. You can display images. I used OPAC nav, which is the left column. And do it with WYSIWYG. I happen to be more comfortable with editing HTML. But if you click in the graphics there, you can see and edit, and modify, and delete the HTML code. I also added an RSS field, which I'm not going to talk about. Few final thoughts. Figured out beforehand. It seems obvious. I don't know if I ever got it right. You notice I redid it after 10 years. I also discovered that that MedStar created or got the domain name, and I maybe comply with the GDPR that MedStarAuthors.org is not available in Europe. Now, make sure what you're doing is legal. I'm using Medline. It's a US government publication, public domain. We paid for it, we get to use it. Some places like ProQuest might get a little annoyed. So ask. Always use a scratch button, otherwise known as a test site. Look up Scratch Monkey and Mabel, and you'll hear their sad story. I use DigitalOcean. I can create an image, spin up a site from that image, and then I can break it. I'm not breaking the production model. I've broken more instances of Koha than probably everyone in the room. Believe it or not, I may have convinced you otherwise. It's easy to modify, even if you're new to it. Anything you can tag can be put into Mark. Heather Hernandez says you can catalog coworkers. I've downloaded a lot, or you can download what I've done. I need to update the spreadsheet that shows all the fields and where they go. I will someday. I hope soon. And I don't think we would have gone into this line of work if we didn't find it fun at times. Yeah, fun. That is the end. Now, this next part of my presentation is not suitable for people with a nervous disposition. I'm sorry, I realize your parents. Just, I was worried that some of you were asleep. Now, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to avoid them. By saying I don't know. I do that a lot. Nope. Okay,
Just one comment.
yes,
I mean, you did the real program. And I think from all indications, you can be part of the development team to add new features.
well, I modified something that someone else did. I am not a real programmer any more than I am a real cataloger. Yes, I've done some original cataloging. Judging by OCLC holdings, we try to get a lot of nursing test prep for certification. We probably have one of the best collections online or in the country. It's sometimes have one or two other libraries holding it because we encourage these nurses to get advanced certifications. They don't have mark records. In fact, I actually got a book that didn't even have an ISBN. That was. Anything else?
There are a couple of online comments.
Oh, okay, good.
Probably the most important one as far as you're concerned is excellent presentation. And that's Layla Umlick.
Thanks for what good to do. Yes.
And then there's some other comments saying, hi Fred, looks great. Fred is excellent, standing ovation. And I'm taking it the cat is Mabel and some people in the cast.
No.
Oh, did I miss part of it?
The dog is named.
The dog is Mabel, okay.
The cat is named Owl. Well,
And I think that's it.
my wife got him from a shelter in Seattle before he got married. He had the cone on then too, and the first day he was walking around the house with a cone. He can't do the 360-degree, but he wears a cone a lot, unfortunately.
Hi, so this is
Yes.
Madge from Massachusetts Community College. Just want to know more about the chicken. I see you there in this chicken now. Just a brief sentence about the chicken.
Yes, okay.
Chicken has a website.
Yes.
Remember, you only have 13 more minutes. Okay?
I don't have anything important to say, so just pull me off the stage.
Well, I've just never been to a conference where somebody had a spell check.
As you can see,
Obviously, you're new to koha-US.
As
Get that right? I'm used to a much bigger keyboard with mechanical keys. Actually, the cat climbed on top of it and managed to change the lighting on it, so it's going back and forth. Okay, well, anyway, there we go. I haven't updated in a while, like the conference in Lawrence I went to, so it's last month.
Last month, last year.
Last year. What happened? So my wife brought the chicken into our family. I don't know why it's named the Avenging Chicken. She doesn't remember it either. And I went to a conference in Seattle, Medical Library Association. And she told the chicken that I wouldn't take it. And the chicken looked at me with this slurring chicken, stuffed chicken eyes. So of course I had to take it and I sent pictures. Me and the chicken. I put it up on the medical library's listserv. It kind of got out of hand. And it's amazing how many people are happy to pose. This person is the president of the Medical Library Association. This person is, is going to retire in about a week as the director of the National Library of Medicine.
But they all look a little stunned.
Also, I have other things. Poetry. Under anecdotes, facetious satires, it's a cataloging joke. The catalogers are probably rolling around on the floor about this word. Also handbooks, manuals, etc., where I put my presentation scripts. I need to update this. Yes, I know. So anything I can share, I will happily share.
My personal advice is if you're asked to pose with the chicken, just do it. It's faster than
Terrible thing is sometimes I take a picture and didn't get the person's name and my mind just doesn't hold on to names. Which is why I've been asking for a picture of your dad. Okay, thank you.